So you over-collected like me, huh? Well, let's help each other get our lives back together. All right, pack rats, in this video, I am going to give you 5 great steps to be able to create Collection 3.0. Now, if this is your first time jumping on the channel, I have talked about Collection 3.0 in several videos, but truly I wanted to identify what that actually means. The way it works is that collecting has phases. First, you are Collector 1.0. This is the collection that you had as a child, or stuff you are nostalgic for. These are the small pieces of the library that you remember playing as a kid, ones that you've kept over from your childhood that could be 5 to 10 games that you really loved back then. Collection 1.0 is literally your nostalgia in a bottle of a select core of games. Next up is Collection 2.0. And on Collection 2.0 is where you go too crazy. You over-collect, you get stuff that you don't want on a whim, and you end up with an entire area, shelf, or game room of stuff that might not truly matter to you. And Collection 2.0 is where regret starts to settle in. This is where you get to take a step back and work on Collection 3.0. And Collection 3.0 is the last part of the collection, though there is a 4.0 that I'll talk about in this video. Collection 3.0 is what our goal is, and Collection 3.0 is us curating specific titles that matter to us that we actually are going to play. What this does is this pares down the collection, reduces the size of the collection, or has you be very selective in the things that you want so that there is utility and essentials in your game space. Essentially, all killer, no filler. I am going to preface this before we get going that I am currently a reseller's worst nightmare, because this content will specifically tell you not to buy video games or not to over collect, which essentially takes away from a reseller's revenue. But I think mental health matters way more than somebody's pocketbook. So with that being said, let's jump in to the 5 ways you can take control of your collection. Okay, first up is the deep thinker exercise. This one will have you going over to your games and having a personal conversation with them. I know that sounds silly, but you essentially are going through your collection one by one and truly justifying whether it's supposed to be in your collection. What reason did you buy it for? Have you played it in a long time? Is this something that matters to you from either nostalgia, or has it been on your want list for a really long time? These deep thought questions about your collection will help you kind of organize and pare down the games that you don't specifically need in the collection. The deep thinker exercise allows you to pick a game up, look at it, realize you don't need this in your collection because it doesn't hit any of your own checkboxes. And at that point, it will help you clean up and get to Collection 3.0. All right, pack rats, the next exercise is trading up for the Holy Grail. Now, the reason why this one is helpful is because a lot of times we will look at a collection and we will justify the reason that we have these games is because, oh, I've played that a couple times. I actually really like that one. I'd like to keep it. That type of justification completely goes out the window when you are pitting it up against a title that you have always wanted, you've dreamed about, but it has been financially not in your grasp. And the way to do that is to grab those games that had a little significance and trade them for one that has a lot of significance or a lot of meaningful emotional value that has just been too expensive to pick up. Now, this is a rare way to do it because now you are going for a lot of games that just have value instead of meaning to you in your collection. But this will help you greatly reduce the amount of games you have in your collection because you are taking 20, 30, 40 games and you are trading those for that one holy grail that you want. You want little Samson for $1,000+? Well, you end up trading 50 games to get it, ones that might not matter to you, but also ones that at this point do not hold the same significance as you always wanting that one game. This exercise is pretty crazy, but if you try it, it will help you clean up a lot of your collection. This next one is a gut punch, and probably one not a lot of people will do because it is scary. Now, the reason it's scary is because in this exercise, you sell off an entire segment of your collection. You don't look at the games, you literally pull them off, put them in a box, and you sell them. And the reason you sell them is because once they're gone, you can walk in and feel the regret of selling those games. And what that regret does is it helps you refocus on what out of that collection you currently are now missing. You are missing as in longing to play that game, or missing because that did mean something to you. Well, now that it's gone and you have all the money from selling that whole collection, you go back and you re-buy the games that you're missing. Now, the reason why this one is a gut punch is because those games are gonna be way more expensive and you are not going to attain them as easily, which then asks yourself, is this worth the effort for me to have this game back in the collection? The reason this exercise is so intense is because you lose money, but you go and you buy games and seek them out with effort because it really will matter to you. I don't know if even I can handle that exercise, but if you have the chops to do it, more power to you. This is going to clean up your collection and you will now re-enter things back into the game room that truly matter and ones that probably hold a lot more value, but you will lose some cash on this exercise. All right, guys, we are gonna get to Collection 3.0 together, and these next two exercises are ones I'm personally going to showcase on the channel and ones that I am working through right now in getting to Collection 3.0. The next exercise is called the memory game, and this one to me is the one that makes my heart drop the most. Essentially with this exercise, you put all of the video games out on the floor, but you have to do it per collection. So essentially, let's take a segment like GameCube, okay? I want to pare down my GameCube collection. I feel like I have too many that don't really matter to me. Well, with this exercise, once everything's fanned out, you have to have a partner for this one. You essentially only get to pick the games from memory. So you lay the games out, you turn around, you don't look at the games, and from memory, you have to tell that other person what ones you'd like to keep in the collection. Now, that person can then go grab the game, put it in a stack because it's all there, and as you turn around, once you've said everything that you possibly can remember, those games are no longer in the collection. And that's where your heart might drop. You'll turn around and be like, oh my God, I totally forgot about that game. I absolutely love that game. But when you go back to essentials, when you go back to things that should matter to you, ones that you should be truly devoted to, those ones will always be in the top of your mind. Everything else can just go, and it's okay to let it go. So the memory game exercise is definitely not going to be easy for a lot of people, scary for some, but that exercise alone will have you, from your heart, from your head, pick and choose the games that you truly did love, because there's ones that you can easily think about versus all the other crap sitting on the floor that never mattered. All right, guys, the last exercise, and the one that I think is the most healthy and therapeutic, is you actually play all of your games. Now, what in the world does that mean? In this age of us collecting 200, 500, 1,000, 5,000 games, playing every game from your library is not easy. In fact, I just completed this exercise with my OG Xbox collection. I played every single game in that collection and I gave it a hearty half an hour per game to find out if I really enjoyed it enough to want to go back to it. And I will tell you right now, I instantly decreased my library by more than half of my games because they just didn't hit the same anymore. I didn't enjoy the playthrough. I didn't enjoy the experience. And often these games struggle because they are now overshadowed by many modern games that have had lots of advancements. So they are very rudimentary and sometimes difficult to get through, which is okay to just leave them in the past as something you enjoyed, but not something you need anymore. So playing back through the library and choosing the games based on your specific experience is probably going to be the most healthy and therapeutic, because now you're justifying you don't want that game or you don't need it in your collection anymore because you just are not going to play it. So those exercises, I hope, help you guys tremendously. I know when you feel like you're overwhelmed, you feel like you have way too many things, you have over collected, you've bought because of FOMO, you have been influenced by YouTubers that tell you all of these things are hidden gems and holy grails. At the end of the day, you don't need that much stuff to be happy. I think that as physical collectors, there is a set number, anywhere from 10 to 20 games per library, that you truly love. Everything else is just like C or B tier. And at that point, does it even matter? I guess that's the question we have to ask ourselves. And I think most people, when you sit back, will be like, I never really needed that much stuff that made me go crazy in Collection 2.0. But Collection 3.0 is definitely gonna let you feel like you have a breath of fresh air in your collection. We go back again to all killer, no filler, and these 5 exercises should really help you guys out a lot. Now, guys, I have one last thing to talk about, and that is Collection 4.0. And what 4.0 is you just sell the whole collection and you go do something with your life. Go on a cruise, go travel the world. Video games will always be there. We can rebuy later or we can emulate. Nobody ever likes that answer, but that is really where things can go. Because when we're on our deathbed, we're not gonna care about video games. We're gonna care about the memories and the experiences that we had with others. There's Dr. Pac-Man for you. I'm not ready for Collection 4.0 for another like 30 years. So guys, if you enjoy my content, you like what I got going on, please hit that subscribe button. And I hope that this video helps you curate that Collection 3.0 like you've always wanted to. All right, come back and see me when you watch me actually go through a couple of these exercises in my own collection, which is gonna be nuts.